Hello again. On the first part of this tutorial, we will go through some of the most popular and useful fundamental settings of ADINA user interface, and we will locate them within the ADINA Ribbon menu. First of all, to the top left of the screen, we have a new Start button that provides a series of options. From here, we can create a new model file, open an existing file, run existing session or input files, save models, and so on. From the start, we can also access the most recent documents, whether these are IDB model files, porthole results files, or others. To the top right of the screen, there is a drop-down list which allows us to choose the style that we want for the ribbon menu. So we could change from blue style to black style or to silver and so on. If we look at the menus and we start by focusing on the home menu, we navigate to the settings tab, and this is where we can now find the background color for the graphics window, graphic system, graphic window, program environment, and preferences. Same as in the toolbar menu, we continue to have our program module drop-down list that allows us to pick from different program modules, such as ADINA structures, ADINA thermal, computational fluid dynamics, electromagnetics, and post-processing. Depending on the program module that we choose, we have a series of analysis types that we can choose from as well. So in the case of ADINA structures, we have statics, dynamics, frequency, and so on. The third drop-down list is the multiphysics coupling, which is the secondary physics that we have in this particular analysis type. So in this case, we would have ADINA structures as the primary module coupled with thermomechanical option. For the case of ADINA structures, we can have thermomechanical, CFD, electromagnetics, and CFD combined with electromagnetics. The last drop-down list allows us to choose between normal and Amore analysis. We cover Amore analysis in another tutorial. Another important menu here to the top of the screen is the control menu. There are some fundamental settings that we may want to access and modify before we start. The decrease of freedom option allows us to choose which degree of freedoms we want active and taken into account in our analysis. For instance, if we're dealing with only 2D or 3D solids, we may want to untick the X, Y, and Z rotations. Or if we are operating in a 2D analysis, we may want to switch off one of the translations and two of the rotations. Also under control, we have other options, which is called miscellaneous options in the toolbar menu. And here we also have a series of important options, such as the plane that we want to work on when we have 2D elements, as well as axisymmetric elements, or the matrix stabilization option that we can set up to yes or no in the case of nonlinear analysis, and some other options. From the control menu, we can also access the analysis assumptions, which affect fluid structure interaction, kinematics, mass matrix, Rayleigh and model damping, and the default temperature settings. Finally, we have the help menu, which also provides a series of resources to better understand and navigate ADINA in the interface. We have some resources directly for ADINA user interface that we can access through these three buttons. And we now have access to release notes, manuals, and primer examples from the PDF tab. On the second part of this tutorial, we're going to see how to use some of the settings that we have just discussed on an example where we will see how to perform the model analysis of a structure.